What is up, Colts Nation? Can you feel that? The energy is building as we head toward minicamp, and I've got some inside information on our defensive line that you absolutely need to hear. We all know our pass rush is the heart of this team, and while everyone is focused on the starters, there is a hidden gem from the draft flying under the radar, who might just change everything this season. Is this rookie ready to defy the odds and dominate the rotation? You won't believe what the scouts are saying. Smash that like button, subscribe, and let's dive in. With the Indianapolis Colts wrapping up OTAs this past Thursday and mandatory minicamp looming on the calendar from June 9th through the 11th, the focus shifts toward defensive end depth. While the team addressed this position in the 2026 NFL Draft, they waited until Day 3 to make their moves. The Colts selected George Gums Jr., out of Florida in the 5th round, and Caden Curry from Ohio State in the 6th round. These additions mark a crucial phase of roster integration, as the rookies and veteran players have now shared the practice field for the first time. During these voluntary workouts, both Gums Jr. and Curry have appeared to hold their own, signaling that they belong in the professional environment. Gums Jr. enters the fold as a project with significant upside, having transitioned from a wide receiver in the MAC to an impactful SEC pass rusher. His speed and raw potential caught the eye of general manager Chris Ballard, who invested a 5th-round pick, 156th overall, in the Florida standout. Gums Jr. recorded 7.5 sacks and 14.5 tackles for loss over 2 seasons at Florida, proving he has the natural ability to disrupt backfields. The Colts are now tasked with refining his technique as he acclimates to the speed of the NFL. Although OTAs did not drastically shift the established depth chart, they served as a vital initial step for these young pass rushers to showcase their skills alongside established pros. The coaching staff is closely evaluating how these rookies adapt to the speed of the league and whether their college production translates to the next level, a vital question as the team works for the shoe. The selection of Caden Curry in the 6th round, 214th overall, provides an interesting case study for the Colts. Curry fell in the draft primarily due to his arm length, which measures at 30.18 inches. This measurement places him in the 0th percentile of all prospects, a metric that typically causes scouts to overlook edge rushers. However, the Colts remain confident in his potential. General Manager Chris Ballard has publicly stated that while physical measurements often lead to prospect evaluation, the organization expects Curry to succeed. Curry was remarkably productive during his time at Ohio State, leading their defense with 16.5 tackles for loss, and tying for 9th in the FBS with 11 sacks during his lone year as a full-time starter. His relentless motor and high football IQ are the traits the team believes will overcome his physical limitations. Justin Mello, writing for NFL Draft on SI, recently highlighted Curry as a top 6th-round sleeper who is effectively hiding in plain sight. Mello pointed out that while his athletic traits are considered average, his production and intensity speak for themselves. The team is betting that his internal drive and technical readiness will outweigh concerns about his wingspan. This decision highlights a specific organizational philosophy regarding drafting, prioritizing high-production players from top conferences like the Big Ten over purely athletic measurements. For Curry, the path to the 53-man roster starts with proving he can compete physically, despite the skepticism surrounding his length. The coaching staff is taking a pragmatic approach, emphasizing that the proof will be in how he handles the transition from the Big Ten to the professional intensity of the NFL regular season. The defensive end rotation is a point of significant interest for the Indianapolis Colts as they move toward the regular season. Currently, the team has its top 4 spots mostly defined, featuring Laiatu Latu, Jailon Tuimoloau, Arden Key, and Michael Clemens. Latu has cemented an every-down role entering his 3rd year, while Tuimoloau and Key are slated to compete for the starting position. Defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo has made it clear that the nature of the modern game requires a robust rotation, noting that very few defensive linemen play 80 to 90% of the total snaps. This philosophy of versatility is exactly where Caden Curry finds his clearest path to meaningful contributions. Curry's playstyle is viewed as a near-perfect fit for Anarumo's scheme, as he possesses the ability to align anywhere across the defensive line. His capacity to drop back into coverage or rush the passer gives the defensive coordinator the flexible deployment he desires. Beyond his defensive versatility, Curry's special teams utility is a major asset for his roster bid. He successfully blocked a kick in each of his final 2 seasons at Ohio State, a record of production that signals he can offer value outside of the primary defensive rotation. When evaluating the overall depth, the team acknowledges that while the starters are set, the pecking order behind them remains fluid. This is where the competition between the veterans and the rookie duo becomes essential for depth. The team requires consistent pressure and situational versatility to keep the front line fresh throughout the grueling 2026 season. By integrating players who can handle multiple assignments, the staff ensures that the defense remains effective, regardless of who is rotating in or out at any given moment. Why does this matter right now for the team? The answer lies in the strategic necessity of depth and the realities of a long, physically demanding season. The Colts are not just looking for starters. They are building a rotation that can sustain pressure across all 4 quarters without a significant drop-off in production. Because Anarumo demands high levels of versatility, players like Caden Curry are not just insurance policies. They are functional components of a defensive system that relies on constant rotation to maintain intensity. If the team can successfully integrate players who are capable of playing multiple roles, it drastically improves their ability to manage snap counts and mitigate the risk of injury for the primary starters like Latu. Furthermore, the reliance on special teams as a pathway to the active roster is a tactical choice that benefits the team as a whole. By dressing players like Curry who offer dual-purpose value, the coaching staff maximizes their limited roster spots on game days. This is crucial because it allows the team to remain agile in their tactical approach, moving away from relying on one-dimensional players. The focus remains on finding those who can contribute immediately in specific situations, while developing the raw, high-potential players like Gums Jr. for larger roles down the line. The training camp period serves as the proving ground for these concepts, allowing the coaches to see who truly fits the system before final decisions are made. The integration process is delicate, balancing the need for veteran experience with the potential offered by rookies who bring high-motor, high-production backgrounds from major collegiate programs. Ensuring that the bench is as capable as the starting group is a priority that the team continues to address through these developmental reps. As the team prepares for mandatory minicamp, the trajectory for the rookie class is clear. Prove your worth through versatility and consistency. George Gums Jr. is working to refine his technique, turning his explosive potential into a reliable pass-rushing repertoire. For Caden Curry, the goal is to demonstrate that his high football IQ and motor translate to the professional level, effectively silencing concerns about his physical profile. The organization is committed to seeing if these two can provide the necessary depth to round out the defensive end room. While the top tier of the rotation is established, the back end of the roster will be decided by who can best execute the varied responsibilities required by Anarumo's defensive scheme. The upcoming minicamp will be the most significant test yet for these rookies, as the intensity will ramp up compared to the voluntary sessions held previously. With the entire squad participating, the competition for reps will increase, forcing every player to perform under higher pressure. The Colts understand that championship-caliber defenses are built on the strength of their rotations and the reliability of their depth pieces. Whether Curry can leverage his special teams prowess and defensive flexibility to secure a spot, or Gums Jr. can accelerate his development into a rotational piece, remains to be seen. However, the first steps have been positive. The coaching staff is taking a wait-and-see approach, allowing the players to compete on the field rather than making premature judgments based on draft status. By the time the final roster is set, the team hopes that the depth behind Latu, Tuimoloau, Key, and Clemens will be substantial enough to keep the defense fresh, effective, and ready for any challenge the 2026 season brings to Indianapolis.